Hey guys, so I was very kindly gifted Folly of the Wizards by the developers, so I want to say a huge thank you to them for gifting me this game to review. So, I've been through this, I've played it a few times. Let me tell you all about Folly of Wizards so you can decide if it's the game for you. Now, Folly of Wizards is a 2D comedic roguelike action game that will allow you to take control of one of 4 clumsy wizard apprentices. Now, you'll go through procedurally generated dungeons, there are a bunch of spells you can learn, you can battle bizarre enemies, and you can pick up a bunch of relics and stuff to imbue yourself with power. So, how does the game fare in regards to everything else? Well, each run feels different every time you load into the game. The reason being is that there are 83 different quest lines, there are 22 unique bosses, 130 relics, tomes and scrolls, and there are 9 biomes. There's also a secret one, but don't tell anyone. Now, with all that being said, it means every time you die you'll be thrust back into the game if you choose to, and you get to explore, you'll find new items, you pick up new spells, more affinities, to make the game feel fresh. Now, a big part of a roguelike is the combat, and while the controls, I am on PlayStation 5, feel okay, the aiming to me personally feels more like a keyboard and mouse game. Now that's not to say that it doesn't work, once you get used to it, it does feel okay, but I do think this is probably a game that does aim and function better with a keyboard and mouse as compared to a controller. But that being said, using all the spells and abilities is really intuitive. You use L1 to jump, L2 to dash, and you can dash everywhere, making it really easy. R2 is what you'll use to shoot your spells, and then R1 for the bigger tome spells you get, which will regenerate. Now, as you go through the game, you'll meet a cast of characters, all with their own sort of unique abilities or affinities, and you can become friendly or foey with them, and in regards, they'll give you power-ups. These range from a wide cast of characters, so as you explore you'll meet all of these, and the more bosses you beat and the more biomes you go into, the more their story will develop. Now, when it comes to boss fights, as I said, there are 22 unique bosses. You might see the same one on the first level a few times, but the game is punishing. Hearts aren't that easy to regenerate, they do cost money if you want to buy new ones, and sometimes you just won't have the gold before you get to a boss fight to regenerate any you've lost. There's also a fun quirk where after a boss is dead, the traps that they have laid down may still be there, and they'll be covered by whether it's by text or the gates that open or the corpse, and you'll die on the trap. I had this happen to me and it was very frustrating, but the game does punish you for these things, but it is a learning experience. So let's just go through a run of the game so you can see what I'm talking about. So, you can aim by using your analog stick, like this, and R2 to shoot your bolts. One of the cast of characters you will meet is God of Nikas here, the storyteller, and as you can tell there is no voice acting. But, alas, we can jump in, and you can see there are breakable sections for you to destroy, all these little crates, and that brings us to these enemies. And again, you'll see when you take damage, your character will glow. Now, once the enemies are down, we can dash around, and those little golden orbs you're just seeing is the currency to buy new things. Now again, jumping is mapped to L1, it'll be the equivalent on whatever console controller you are using. And it does feel okay. It feels smooth to me, the dashing also feels very smooth. It's just the aiming that seems to be an issue. But this is an example of the people you can meet. So here is Nero, the Blob King, and depending on what we ask, we can either gain affinity or lose affinity. From my experience, the top option is always gain affinity, so if we were to click this, you should see affinity increased. And these rooms will usually include a power-up like this. So for example, we now have a mixed potion. And this is what will imbue your abilities and relics. Now relics will give you special items as you're going through and special power-ups. So again, let's just enter our next room, destroy the collectibles, collect what we need to, and you'll see each area has enemies that are unique to it. So as you go through these, we're gonna take damage from that enemy. You will notice that the enemies will change per biome. meaning it's fun to just run around. Now, these special colourful rooms will be what have more characters in. As you can see here, we can buy more power-ups, or we can talk to Laren, and we can gain more affinity as such. And that really is the gist of the game, and you just keep going through until you die, get into the boss gates. Now, boss gates, they're very easy to tell. When we find one, you'll see what I mean. But essentially the core of this game is we defeat enough enemies to reopen the world we're in. As you'll see currently, all the rooms are locked. So we have to defeat 3 enemies, or all 3 enemies on the screen, didn't dash in time, to reprogress. And again, we know with these colourful gates, this is going to open us up to this area. Which means we've now imbued our ability with water, and as you can see, it is now slightly different. And we can meet another character, and this time it's Mingo. And yeah, it plays like your regular roguelike, as you can tell. Again, I've put probably around 25 to 30 hours into this game now, which means the aiming is a little bit more intuitive for me, but I do think a lot of people will struggle with this as they begin. But for the price tag of, I believe it is $22.99, there are also these gates you can unlock with keys, which we don't have. For $22.99, or I believe it is $30 in the US, you get a pretty decent roguelike game. And here we go with the bosses, as you'll see. So we'll do the boss fight here. Now, I'd be very surprised if we pull this off, because as you can see, each boss does have unique abilities like that. And that's essentially it. You play again, and you can restart. So overall, this is a very, very solid game. Now with that being said, if you're on PC, I do think this is a bigger pickup. I'm using PS5 controller. I think if you're playing on Switch, this is an amazing game for handheld. I just don't know how well it will actually play on the Switch with the analog sticks, in all honesty. But I don't think that should take away from how good the game is. And again, the replayability is solid with all the different locations, the different bosses, all the different spells and relics you can pick up, as well as the more characters you can choose to play as you go through. This is just a very solid game. So really hope this game takes your interest. If it does, let me know, or if you already own it, let me know what you think of Folly of the Wizards. Again, I want to say a big thank you to the developer for gifting me a key to test this game out. If you're already, please check the game out, drop the episode a like, helps me tremendously. Subscribe to the channel for more if you want to see more guides or videos such as this, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys!